What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. So we had our last preseason game against the Jaguars, and like every game, there's a mixed bag. A little bit of good, a little bit of bad. Let's get into it. We're gonna start with the good, and maybe the most good from the game. I guess the most impactful moment was Malik Washington once again. I think securely securing the third wide receiver spot, catching the pass on our third drive, and just putting a dude in a spin cycle, looking explosive, scoring a touchdown. The whole preseason, he's looked very in line and in tune with Tua. We talked about it a couple of days ago with Tua was just raving about his football IQ is super high. He always knows where to be. He knows how to get open. He wasn't even talking about yards at the catch and all that. He was just saying he's never not where he's supposed to be. We've seen a lot of receivers who just forget routes. They go too far. They cut him off too short. Malik is where he needs to be when he needs to be there. We saw in the game a simple pass out to the flat becomes an explosive touchdown play where, a younger receiver might have just caught the ball and gone out of bounds, maybe just turned upfield and got engaged in a tackle. To turn that into that play was like, all right. And again, we brought Nick Westbrook over to be the number three, presumably. And honestly, he's just been thoroughly outplayed by Malik. It's not even an anti NWI. It's just it's just Malik is, but he pops every time we see him. He gets open, he catches the ball, he's good at the catch, he's quick, he's nimble. I like Nick Westbrook being on his team because I want Tua to have bigger targets because all of our receivers are under 6 feet for the most part, and Tua is also not tall, so it's like I don't want to be limited in terms of we can only throw little dinky dunky like quick routes. I do want to be able to do some jump balls at some point. Like every top quarterback in the league has a receiver they can just say, "Hey, go get it. Just go get it." Throw it up there, and they just say, "Hey, I got you, big dog." Like Kelsey is that for him, Mahomes. I guess Keon Coleman is what that is now, but Stephon Diggs would go up and get balls for him before. Obviously, both tight ends for Baltimore, Detroit. Laporta does that. Like you got to have someone that's like, hey, if it contested catch situation, AJ Brown clearly go get it. Jamar Chase gets it. Justin Jefferson. Like you got to have a guy who does that. All of our guys are like, we can just get past the person that's guarding us, or they take a bad angle, we can take off. So the idea of bringing in someone that's a little bit bigger frame made sense, but frankly, Malik has just been the better option. We haven't had Tyreek at all in the preseason because he's been banged up, and Jalen Waddle barely played against the Jags, hasn't played the other games. So really, he's just been the best receiver we've had in general in the preseason. We haven't had our one and two, and he fits with what they do. He does a lot of what they do, but he's just not as top end fast. But he might be short range quicker. If that makes sense. I mean, Tyreek maybe because Tyreek is just so like, like he's like very twitchy. Um, I don't know. I was a big Malik fan. I said that from the jump. When we got Nick Westbrook, I was like, hey, I know he's a big play down the field kind of guy. I know he's a bigger body. I thought Malik was great every time I saw him last year. I just wonder why we didn't give him the ball, and that was a lot of that was quarterback issues. We know how that is, but he stepped up. He showed out again. I think he securely secured the third spot. Shout out to you. If this year goes really well, then we might even be in line for some mini contract extension. I'm here for all of it. Shout out to Malik. You have earned it. That is not where I want to go next. Sorry. Here we go. O line, not good. Just bear the headline. Not good. Not good enough. And this is something that we were concerned about going into the year. Three major concerns: secondary, D line, O line. Everything else, I think we felt pretty good about. Generally, injuries. Of course, we got a lot of guys coming off injury, but we are operating under the assumption that the people who were hurt are going to come back healthy. This is the Phillips, the Chubbs, the Austin Jacksons. Like we just assumed they would come back. But position group wise, O line was like, I mean, how many mock draft episodes did we do where they just kept mock drafting different O linemen to the Dolphins in the first round? It was Kelvin Banks at one point, and if this guy falls from, this university, are they going to jump and take the tackle from Ohio State? And it just kept being that over and over and over again. Like, should we take a guard super early? Because we knew the O line could be an issue. This is not our full offensive line, so we know this isn't like our day one starter. I will say after three preseason games, though, I don't feel much better about the offensive line. We gave up 2 sacks on back to back drives, multiple three and outs. You can see a lot of miscommunication. Guys are like, "Hey, are you blocking down? Are you blocking this way? Are we supposed to double team that guy? And is I just some of it is a lack of continuity, like a lack of practice time together. This is one of the reasons injuries are such a big deal for a football team. Is not because the person is not playing, is that you're not getting reps together. And offensive lines are very much we're all like on the same string position. I know you think the tackles are far apart from each other, but they do relate to each other. Obviously, the guard and the tackle work in concert. The center works in concert with everybody. And when they're not aligned in what they're doing, then three people can be doing their job, and this one person not doing their job over here destroys the whole play. Like you need to be locked in at all times. That's why even having one bad offensive lineman, I mean, that might be it. If we got to now put a second person in a running back chip on this one tackle because they can't do their job, now every other offensive lineman is like maybe a little bit sliding this way, or they're at least keeping their eye like, oh, we can't let that guy get loose. It's just not a good situation. These guys simply haven't played well enough. We've seen some red zone running struggles in terms of pushing the line of scrimmage. We've seen two protection issues. I'm just dissatisfied with what I'm seeing. Frankly, I don't. Not saying it's doom and gloom for the year. Not saying it can't get better. I'm saying at this point in the season, when Jacksonville is playing exclusively backups, I'm thinking, oh, the O line's going to go, the offense is going to go out there and score maybe two touchdowns and just walk off the field. And then I'm seeing three and outs because we keep getting our quarterback hit. And I'm like, well, these aren't even the starting. And Jacksonville's defense is not good anyway. So this is the backup defense for a not good defensive team, and they're giving us that many problems. What are we talking about? It just, I think the Patriots and the Jets and the Buffalo Bills defensive lines are significantly better. And if we can't block up Jacksonville with, I mean, with something to play for, at least for that those first few drives, I don't know. That didn't bode well for me. We're still hoping August 1st we get the whole squad together, but then those guys have to gel together. That's the biggest thing. Like the reason I wanted Jonah to get his contract so bad is not because I'm Jonah get your guaranteed money guy. I don't work for Jonah. I'm not part of the family. But I knew the longer he's out of camp, that means the less reps he's getting. And if we drafted him to be a starting offensive guard, which we did, moved up, gave up future compensation to get him into the team, and we're quibbling over, I think it was like 1.2, $1.3 million over a 4 year contract. What are we doing? You rather him not practice for 2 or 3 weeks because you want to make a point and then maybe get your quarterback hurt on the back end because of what? We don't want to be the team that does second round contracts. It's not a first round, dude. It's this 37th pick. It didn't make any sense to me organizationally. It's like, dude, just bite the bullet. And they finally did eventually, but who knows how much that may have set him back by not being there. Like it's just, I just didn't love it. I didn't love what we were doing in that situation. I think it's showing itself on the field because I expected O line to be not only improved, but especially when you're going against like kind of low level backups to be even dominant. I was typing out, yo, we're gonna probably dominate these boys. They got backups in there, and that's not what happened. We scored 14 points as a team, so I don't know. I didn't love that. What I did love is Ali Gordon once again just asserting himself in the team. I feel horrible for Jalen Wright that he couldn't be there to play because it seems like by him simply not playing, he seeded something. Maybe not the second spot on the depth chart, like officially. Like I can definitely see HN and when he comes in, and then Jalen coming in for the next series. But he may have seeded some down the distances. He may have seeded some, you know, some trust with the team. Ollie Gordon, since he came in, has only shown me that he should be on the field. That's all he's shown me. Every time I see him, I'm like, that guy should be playing. Not over Devon, but everyone else, like no one else has shown me they're definitively better than him. And because he's so much more physical and just bigger, then it's like, oh, we have that added bonus of him just being like a physical threat. He's what Jeff Wilson Jr. and what Alexander Madison were with a little bit more speed and way more youth. But also, he can catch if we decide to throw him the ball, right? Maybe not as well as Jalen or Devon, but good enough. So it's not a situation where you bring him in a game and you know it's going to be a carry because he can't catch. That's not the case. He can. He's less likely to catch a pass than other two are. Fine. We need someone on the ground that can get us consistently 4 to 4.5 yards, tough yards. We get all the home run threat from Devon we can get. Like he'll get, 2 yards, 3 yards, 25, 50, 4. Like he does a lot of that. But even Devon is fairly consistent. He doesn't get, as many negative carries. We need somebody. If it's second and 6, we can be like, we could probably run it twice and get the first down. Just to get some of the pressure off the O line. For those of you who don't play O line, it's much easier to block for running than it is to block for passing because you're exerting your will and you're moving them forward versus receiving someone coming at you. So if you can run the ball and exert your will, that's better for the offensive line because you know who I'm trying to block. You know your gap schemes. You know if we're blocking down on somebody. You know we're double teaming somebody. You know how to get downhill. And you get to just get your dominance off. That's why pancake blocks are so fun for those guys. They just push you down and just land on top of you and just like exert their will. Like, yeah, I pushed you down. It's awesome. So you can run the ball. Offensive lines, that's their bag. What they don't want to do is have to hold up in pass protection over and over and over again because you're literally trying to stop somebody from pushing you back, which means that you're almost by definition undefensive, even though you're in the offensive line. Someone is attacking you. When you're attacking them, you can just be a little bit of a bully. Click them, throw them to the side. That's what you ever see the old lineman block somebody like all the way out of bounds onto the sideline. That's just them getting their that's them getting their bag. I could just throw you off the field legally and then just be like, yeah, I did that. It's a great feeling. So there will be times in the game where we have a lead and we want to salt the game away, which is where I think Ollie will really come in handy. He'll just come in and just four, first down, 5, 3, for like just to be able to salt the game. Because when we had Devon like doing carries late in the game, when it got on third and one, third and two, we would be like, can we run this? You would see the coach like, this is a long play. All right, we're gonna do this guy in motion, flip, twist. Like it's like, hey, line up, go push somebody. We about to get three, and we'll keep the drive going. He showed better pass blocking and against the Jaguars than he did before, which to me is a big part of it, especially if he's a third down back. You got to be able to block. That's it. Full stop. You cannot be a running back that's successful in this league if you don't block at a certain point. And we'll need you to be devastating blockers. You need to know who you're blocking, get in front of them, and impede their progress. That's the block. You don't have to pick them up, suplex them, Kurt Angle style with the three, the three German suplexes. You don't gotta do all that. You just gotta make sure that guy is impeded getting to my quarterback. My quarterback has an extra beat, maybe a little extra time to get out of the pocket, make that guy get open in the secondary, make the play. If you cannot block, you can't stay on the field. It's as simple as that. And he's shown that he's gotten better at blocking. We know he's good at running. So I think he has shown himself very well. I would not be shocked at all if day one he's running back two. Then we might still stay with Jalen just because he's been with the team and we put draft equity into him as well. But I wouldn't be shocked at all. We hit here day one, OG, running back number two. Now we can get to my man, Jason Marshall. So we mentioned a few episodes ago that Jason had been kind of thrown into the slot. He wasn't getting any burn as an outside corner for us. Threw him in a slot, and we're like, oh, he's kind of impressing us. And in the last game against the Jags, we actually started him at slot corner, and he looked good. That's which is the biggest thing, right? The conversation was he's way more athletic than Mike Hilton is. He's obviously younger. He's at an unnatural position, so we don't know what that learning period looks like. Some guys take to a position naturally, real quick. You may have been a hand in the dirt, defensive tackle, and now you're like standing up on the edge, like, and you just adapt to it. You might go from inside to outside. Some people can do that. Some people can only do what they do. I'm just one person. Outside corner that's a glory position. You and the receiver a lot of times 1-on-1 on the edge, pushing, trying to get him to the boundary, looking back for the ball, jumping for picks. Hey, that's a hero position. To go in the slot and play well. I mean, some of the research I saw today, like he has the inside track to be the day one starting slot corner, which is crazy because he was kind of thought of as maybe a special team guy who can kind of find his way onto the field in nickel and dime packages. We'll see if he can make it. I mean, fifth round pick. We didn't draft him thinking he would be a starting corner. And one of the things you do through the draft is ideally build your team with young, cheap guys to team up with the people you're paying good money to. So Minka Fitzpatrick obviously is the highest paid guy in our secondary. He should be. He's great. But we can't have four of him in a secondary because you go broke. You got to have him and then maybe Ashton Davis, if he's healthy, who's getting on a 1-year deal kind of cheap. And then bringing Jason Marshall. I haven't even looked at his contract. I got to think it's less than $800,000 a year as a fifth-round pick. So if he comes in and he's getting paid that amount of money, but then starts at his position and plays well, listen, as an organization, it don't get better than that. It's like we're not spending no money, and he's starting, and he's locked in a contract for this nice 4 years. Woo! Like that's his, and listen, we may have to give him an extension after the third year if he just gets him better year over year over year. But that's still a 3 year away problem. That's 3 years from now. The team could be completely different. You've seen franchises change over in 2 years. 3 years from now, we don't know who's going to be coach, quarterback, GM. We assume the owner's going to be the same. A lot can change in 3 years. But if he is what we think he could be, and he might only get the start because his upside is so much higher. To me, Mike Hilton is a low ceiling, high floor slot corner. Meaning like his worst version of slot corner, still he can kind of be on the field, but he might be a low liability. But his ceiling is, all right, he's a good slot corner, but not a Pro Bowler. That's like he's so it's not like it's like that gap between those two. Jason Marshall's floor, I guess, could be the situation overwhelms him. He looks super young and green and wet behind the ears, and he gets picks thrown and or passes thrown all over him. That could be a situation. But the ceiling could be he becomes one of the best young slot corners in the league, and he's cheap, and he has outside corner abilities. So if we need to like move him around, because I think he could even be a more versatile piece than where he is. We might start him at the slot, and it becomes like a four wide situation, or we add another corner at some point, and he can be moved around because he's played outside corner before. So that makes him an even more valuable piece than you only do this one job well. So his ceiling could be he's our jack of all trades in the secondary, while still getting paid basically nothing, which is awesome. We're only in this situation because of injuries. So it's an unfortunate situation that we are where we are. Really fortunate for him though, because he's like, hey, I didn't want to see Artie go down, but that did kind of free some stuff up for me. We didn't want to see Cater go down. Cater was obviously a starting corner for us. He was going to go from slot to the outside, and we were trying to figure out can he do both? Because again, slot is a little bit different than playing outside corner. And by him going out, Jason was like, I can step in, and he's shown that well. And with Mike being the backup, if we end up in four receiver sets, where it's two guys in the slot, two guys on the outside, now Mike Hilton's our second slot corner, which means that's probably the other team's third or fourth best receiver. That's a good matchup for both of us. I mean, this can really change the whole trajectory of the secondary if he continues to get good at that position. We need to shore up corners one and two, but if corner three is Jason and he's good at that, then I think that's a hit in the draft. We already feel good about our defensive line hits. I think Jonah's going to get better and better as the year goes on. So a draft that was guarded, I think, is a C minus by the NFL. I believe that's if I got that. It was C minus or C plus. They didn't like our draft at all. Um, if we end up getting three or four starters, especially outside of the first round or two, then they can say whatever they want for their draft grade. It worked out for us. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. Thank y'all for the likes and subscribes. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.